Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Cynical and welcome back to another episode of Sea Salt Snippets. It's been a hot minute since we last did one of these, I think. Man, we'll probably be coming up to about 6 months now, but essentially, for any viewers who don't know what this is a series where I talk about 3 quick gaming topics, whether it be to do with Kingdom Hearts or anything else that's currently going on within the gaming space. Today, for you guys, we've got some spicy topics to talk about, so without further ado, let's just dive straight into it. First up for today, I thought I would talk about the very interesting data mining that the 13th Vessel was doing at the start of September towards Kingdom Hearts 3. He uncovered a lot of very, very interesting assets from the game's files that I thought we would talk about in today's video. A lot of these are just assets that have been used throughout the game but are interesting nonetheless. Obviously, as time goes on, more and more is uncovered from deep within the Kingdom Hearts 3 files. I believe that there is still some very interesting stuff lying around in there, and we're even up to the point with Kingdom Hearts 3 hacking now where hackers are actually able to access cutscene specific rooms. All around, the sort of Kingdom Hearts 3 hacking and data mining space is progressing very nicely, so it's very good to see, and a big thanks once again to the 13th Vessel for all the fantastic work he does within the Kingdom Hearts hacking community. If you guys would like to see all of the assets and cool stuff that the 13th Vessel has found so far via data mining for Kingdom Hearts 3, then I'll leave a link in the description down below. However, here's a bunch of stuff that he found that I thought to be the most interesting. First up right here is a look at Nominees' room within the Twilight Town mansion. Now, as we know, unfortunately, we cannot access the Twilight Town mansion within Kingdom Hearts 3. However, though, you can actually see through the curtains of Nominees' room, and it does actually look like there is a 3D space within there. This obviously confirms that there is indeed a 3D room, and even to the point of Square Enix putting in the pictures that Naminé used to draw. Interesting that they decided to do this, considering that the player never actually sees this room, and this room is also never used for cutscene purposes. Although the models within this room are very low texture, it's still very interesting to see that Square Enix went ahead and put all of this stuff in here. Next up is Baymax's upgrade chip that obviously Hero uses on Baymax throughout the San Francisco world towards the end of the world. Interestingly enough, this actually does have Tetsuya Nomura's signature on it, or at least part of his signature. When I was first going through San Francisco, I didn't actually notice this in the cutscene, but there is a brief moment where Sora is actually handling the upgrade chip, and you do actually get to see Tetsuya Nomura's little signature thingy, but the crown with like the 3 lines over the top, that is part of Tetsuya Nomura's signature, and he decided to actually add it onto Baymax's upgrade chip. A nice little detail. Next up is a bunch of assets and models from Radiant Garden. Now, obviously, you guys should know that we don't actually get to visit Radiant Garden within the game. However, though, it does appear within cutscenes, and cutscenes that aren't actually pre-rendered, meaning that at some point, yes, I think it is possible that we will see a room mod where we're able to actually explore the Radiant Garden areas that do exist within Kingdom Hearts 3's files. The different pictures that you guys have seen are of different houses that are within the Radiant Garden set for the cutscenes. We can also see parts of the sort of city courtyard area as well as the castle as well. It's very interesting that they actually decided to model in the castle as well as the entrance to the castle with the steps, that area from Birth by Sleep, just considering that you don't really get to see too much of it really at all, except it's pretty much here in its full detail. I've been really hoping that for the Remind DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, Radiant Garden will become a visitable world, but I do have a feeling that if Radiant Garden was planned to be a DLC world, an extra location that we get to visit within the DLC, then most likely Square Enix probably would have advertised it within the 2 trailers that we've received so far. That being said, it is still possible. However, I'm feeling as if it's probably not a place we'll go to within Kingdom Hearts 3's DLC. The 13th Vessel also uncovered some assets from the Mysterious Tower. As you guys know, it was originally planned for us to actually go to the Mysterious Tower as seen in the Jump Festa 2015 trailer. However, when we went through Kingdom Hearts 3, we quickly realized that this wasn't actually part of the game. So either it must be scrapped or is going to be later on used for the Remind DLC. However, though, it's interesting that there are assets from Yensid's tower that are actually within the game's files, like the actual terrain platform that the tower actually sits on. That whole sort of platform is actually within the game's files. We also have the doorway entrance right here, as well as what looks to be the stair rails. And as we know, we don't see any of these assets or models within any of the Mysterious Tower cutscenes. So again, it's It's probably left over from when Square were originally planning to have the Mysterious Tower within Kingdom Hearts 3. And like I said, the idea of going to the Mysterious Tower has either been scrapped by this point or is going to be used for the Remind DLC. There are also some of the 0.2 Birth by Sleep wardrobe items within the files of Kingdom Hearts 3. We can see the cat ears right here, the tiara, we can see some of the back wings. This isn't actually too surprising though, considering that 0.2 used a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3's tech, or vice versa, and that originally 0.2 was actually meant to be a part of Kingdom Hearts 3, and it was going to act as sort of a prologue, which it already kind of is within 2.8, except this was actually meant to be a part of Kingdom Hearts 3, so it's not really too surprising to see that some of the 0.2 assets are still within the Kingdom Hearts 3 files. Even when it came to 0.2 and data mining for that game, we discovered that there were a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3 based things within the files of 0.2 as well. Like for instance, water magic was found within the files of 0.2, which later on appeared in Kingdom Hearts 3, and other small little findings. We have the complete Daybreak Town castle model right here. Now, in case you guys are slightly scratching your head towards this, thinking, well, Daybreak Town wasn't in Kingdom Hearts 3, it kind of technically is. We don't really know too much towards this as of right now, but there is some kind of connection between both Daybreak Town and Scala. In the second phase of the final Xehanort fight, you're thrown underwater, and you will notice a big sort of structure off in the distance. That is actually the Daybreak Town castle turned upside down, so it would seem that Scala is actually built upon the ruins of the Daybreak Town castle. This is it flipped upright, looking still very, very damaged, not as pristine as it once used to be back in the Kingdom Hearts Key era. Really looking forward to getting to the point where we learn more about this at some stage, whether it is through the next Kingdom Hearts installment or of course within Union Cross. Next up is the cable car model from Scala. You will actually notice a few of these while you're actually in Scala, although they are kind of out of the way and they're not in the playable, explorable space of the world itself. You will notice them just out of bounds. However, if you haven't actually had a good look at these, this is it in its complete model. I often think that, you know, if Scala was a complete world, then perhaps maybe we would have used these cable cars to get from sort of one town island to another, which would have been really cool. The 13th vessel also uncovered a bunch of skyboxes that are used throughout the various worlds of Kingdom Hearts 3. They look absolutely beautiful. I would have to say that Kingdom Hearts 3 probably has some of the most amazing skyboxes I've seen in a video game. This kind of brings me back to the Mysterious Tower skybox that we saw within that Jump Festa trailer. I will never ever forget that. I remember always going on about just how beautiful that Mysterious Tower skybox looks. Still so unfortunate that we never got that as a playable area. Here is a bunch of posters used throughout Scala's town area. The 13th vessel also got the Verum Rex assets that are used obviously within the toy box world for the video game section to clearly display the video game within the store. This is the back of the Verum Rex video game that kind of gives us little blurbs and descriptions of what the game is. This is some interesting stuff considering that we know that in some shape or another, Yuzora, who is the main character from the video game of Verum Rex within the world of Toy Box, is going to be involved in the next saga of Kingdom Hearts somehow. So it makes me think, does some of this information on the back of the actual Verum Rex video game potentially point to where the series could actually go towards next? Let's read what it says on the back. It says right here, after a long fight, weapons have brought great benefits for humanity, but the karma that sleeps in humans will accelerate further. In the light of the warhead, I believe it says, in the night sky, they choose to fight while feeling the pain of their hearts. It's kind of Kingdom Hearts-esque, especially with mentioning they choose to fight while feeling the pain of their hearts. The top blurb says King of Truth, which could be referring to that of Yuzora. It could be a title of sorts. What it means, we obviously don't know. But underneath it says Reclaim Your Heart, which is an obvious poke towards Final Fantasy XV's blurb, which is known as Reclaim Your Throne. Overall, when looking towards Verum Rex, there's a lot of similarities between obviously Final Fantasy XV, a game that Tetsuya Nomura once used to be director for, and of course Verum Rex. It's often thought that a lot of the original ideas that Tetsuya Nomura had for Final Fantasy XV, or back when he was working on it, versus 13, it's likely that he's implemented a lot of those previous ideas into that of Verum Rex. And also, the whole Reclaim Your Heart thing is an interesting interesting concept, just considering that at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora did in fact lose his heart. Technically, he has died, and in doing so, it's resulted in him waking up in a new mysterious world. So could that blurb, reclaim your heart, have something to do with Sora as well? And is Yuzora in a similar situation where he too has also lost people or perhaps a heart of his own? Next up is the texture that's used for the pirate map for the Pirates of the Caribbean world within the game that obviously Jack uses. We see this briefly in a cutscene, but this is the complete HD texture by itself. The one interesting thing that people have pointed out about this is that there is actually a hidden Mickey on this texture, even though you never see it within the game at all. Interesting again that Square Enix decided to do this. It's right there, as you guys can see. I love that Square Enix actually go out of their way to add all of these little details into these textures and assets, considering that the player will never ever be able to see them unless they do data mining for themselves. And that right there is all of the more interesting assets and stuff that the 13th Vessel so far has uncovered. Again, I'm sure as time goes on, data mining will progress for Kingdom Hearts 3, and even more mysterious and cool new things will be uncovered. Next up, Kingdom Hearts is appearing within the Guinness Book of World Records 2020 Gamers Edition, which is absolutely incredible to see. This is the page of the Kingdom Hearts feature right here, as you guys can see. And the reason why Kingdom Hearts is featured in here is for specifically Sora. Sora is getting the award of most appearances as the hero in a Square Enix RPG, which is definitely true. When we look at Sora, he is definitely the most prominent and returning character in an ongoing RPG story. In comparison to something like Final Fantasy, although there is a handful, more than a handful of Final Fantasy games, each Final Fantasy game is its own self-contained story. It's not like Final Fantasy 1 is going to have the same characters as Final Fantasy 2. Whereas when we look at Kingdom Hearts, it's an ongoing story that continues to have the same characters, same main protagonists, same antagonists. So definitely well deserved. There's some other really cool features in here, like talking about the most critically acclaimed Kingdom Hearts game, which still to this day is, of course, Kingdom Hearts 2. Another one talking about BizKit047's Kingdom Hearts 1.5 speedrun, which congratulations, Biz, man. That is absolutely awesome to get a feature in the Guinness Book of World Records. All around, it's absolutely fantastic to see that Kingdom Hearts has a placement within the Guinness Book of World Records. Absolutely well deserved. And finally, last up for today, we have some more PlayStation 5 details. So earlier on today, Wired once again released an exclusive article revealing some new exclusive details about the PlayStation 5. It just seems to be that Wired, as of right now, have this sort of exclusivity when it comes to revealing new PlayStation 5 information. They released an article talking about specific PlayStation 5 features earlier on this year, and now once again, we're sitting here in October with yet another article from them revealing some new stuff. So first things first, the PlayStation 5 will in fact be releasing in holiday of 2020. I released a video not too long ago talking about video gaming in 2020 and mentioned that one of the really exciting things about 2020 is obviously the reveal and the release of the brand new systems. Although at that point, it wasn't confirmed the PlayStation 5 was in fact going to be releasing in the holiday period of 2020. Most of us assumed that that would be the fact, considering that Microsoft announced at E3 of 2019 that Project Scarlet, the next Xbox, will in fact be releasing holiday 2020. So in order for obviously Sony to combat that, they will obviously need to release their next system as well. It's not really any mind-blowing news just because most of us were expecting this. There were some other little key features that were announced within this article as well, like the fact that the controller will in fact be using USB Type-C, another thing that most of us were expecting for these new systems. Other things like haptic triggers for the controllers, the ability to install either single player or multiplayer for a game. So as an example, let's just use Call of Duty. Say you just want the multiplayer experience and you don't want the single player experience taking up storage space on your system, then you can choose either or. There was also more talk about the general load times for the PlayStation 5 being times faster than the PS4 due to the inbuilt SSD that will come with the system, and other stuff like the new and improved UI that will come with the system that will make booting up games a lot faster, and just just the general experience of the system a lot faster. Next year will obviously be massive, and now that we have the confirmation that PS5 is in fact releasing at the end of next year, E3 of 2020 is no doubt going to be insane, with both Microsoft and Sony going full force with revealing their brand new systems, explaining why the consumer should purchase that system, and most likely we'll see that juicy launch lineup. Alright guys, that's all for today's episode of Sea Salt Snippets, a little bit of Kingdom Hearts and a little bit of PlayStation stuff. In the comment section down below, please do share your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to know what you guys think. However, dudes, I've been Cynical, hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stain. Gold in my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crate, gaming up your bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.